best of 3. So, without any further ado, we are now in game, and let's see how this goes. To the top right hand side, we start this off with the Blue Zerg player. This is Namshar. I actually cast a little bit of Namshar last night in the WardiTV Star League Europe Group A, and it was cool to get to cast some Namshar, doing well. Played some cool games against Hearthstone, then he beat Bly in the ZvP to qualify into the round of 8. So definitely keep on checking that out as well. I'm casting the WardiTV Star League Europe with Rifkin every Wednesday at 7 PM CEST. As to the bottom left hand side, the red Protoss player is MacSed, a Chinese Protoss from back in the day. A Chinese Protoss who actually has been doing better. He's been kind of coming back again lately. So nice for him to make a return as we see this probe moving in towards the upper right. Probe pops in towards the natural expansion and sees it is a hatchery first, and MacSed even going to go Nexus first right away here. So this is something that is kind of a little bit more viable again now because of the lack of Ling drops, being able to go Nexus first. It's kind of interesting though, because he pylon scouts to do this, so the Nexus first will obviously give you a bigger work account, but he has to give up a little bit of economy early with the probe, having a scout so early on. And Namshar, of course, against the Nexus first can be a bit greedier himself, because the Cybernex core will be delayed, and the delay on the Cybernex core means that eventually you get to this point where you're going to be delayed on the Stargate or Twilight Council, etc. And that obviously makes things a little bit more awkward for kind of Protoss attacks there, but again, it does give him a strong economy to work off of for now, so we'll see if that's going to be enough for him here as we get this set up and rolling. This probe coming back up into the main base to have a little bit of a scout around and see what else is happening. Couple queens on the way out here from Namshar. Link speed starts up, and obviously for him this is looking fairly standard for just a moment or so. And we are going to be seeing just a few overlords spreading themselves across the map to see what they can get up to as well. What's up, Jibs in the chat? How you doing today as well, buddy? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good time. As we do see a couple probes just popping out here. Cybernex core is about to finish up here on this natural ramp. Obviously Warpgate can start, and is going to be a Stalker pretty quickly to follow up the Zealot, so not going to go for that Adept. We've seen a lot of the kind of Adept early, kind of nowadays in the ZvPs, because it gives the Protoss a little bit of control across the map, and it allows them to scout quite a bit. To follow from a Nexus first though, it's not too surprising I suppose to kind of maybe just see the Zealot than the Stalker. Just because again everything's a little bit delayed, as he will throw down a Twilight Council. So MacSed straight into the Twilight Council here at the moment. Let's see how this is going to go. Goes into the Robo as well, so it looks as though this is going to start being a Dark Shrine and probably some Dark Temple, the Archon drop, similar to what we saw Prince doing earlier today against Guru in game number 1. Obviously that gives him the control of the map a little bit, some harassment potential. If Namshar messes up here or there, you can definitely hurt him a little bit as well. As Pneumatized Carapace finishes, this Overlord gets that little bit of a speed boost to jump into the main base and to get confirmation of what is happening. Stalker moves out of position, and so Namshar gets all of this information for free. He sees the Twilight Council, we'll see the Dark Shrine. This other Overlord at the front will actually be able to see the Robo facility building up as well, so absolutely everything here from Namshar is figured out, and he gets a full scout off. So Namshar knows what he's up against for now. That investment into Pneumatized Carapace, obviously it's somewhat costly. 100 in an early stage of the game like this is expensive, but it now gives him full info on what he should be doing to deal with the follow-up of the Protoss player, and he shouldn't be caught off guard by anything going into the near future. And we do see him going into the left for now, which will have the Overseers out, maybe just about in time to deal with the Dark Templar. So the Overseers can come on out, and in general Namshar can just begin to get ready to protect himself against this wave of DTs, and then to protect himself against the Archons, which will inevitably come out as well. Now interestingly, he is bypassing the Rotor, so he's going to look to defend with just Lings for now, which is a little bit scary against the Archons, because the Archons can trade so well against them when there's also a Warp Prism involved. As we do see this charge upgrade coming through on the Twilight Council, and we are going to be seeing these few Zerglings. They are just going to start heading out, down, across the map over the next few moments. 4 DTs will actually start to warp in here from MacSed, and they are going to be heading up in towards the third base. Now the Spore Crawler is here and there is some Lings nearby, but the Spore will be targeted. Overseer is actually not up, and so Namshar's in trouble. It's going to be the second time today we're going to see a third hatchery potentially dying from the lack of a Spore, or just lack of an Overseer when the Spore's ready. He's going to have the Overseer coming in now. It took MacSed a little while to start swiping on this hatchery, and the Overseer that flies in from the left-hand side is going to be super close, man. These DTs, maybe they could have swiped down a little bit more, but I guess with transfusions, maybe it wouldn't have been safe. Meanwhile, a Ling drop in the main base finds itself 4 workers, and the Immortal had to kind of pull away a little bit. I thought the Immortal might have gone down, but now the Ling drop's actually going to pull away. Namshar keeping those alive with that Nematized Carapace, getting something more out of this opening. As you are going to be seeing these few DTs just sent up to the right hand side, going to morph in a couple of Archons and potentially get ready to push on in for further damage now, of course, to see what else is going to be happening here. So setting up towards this right now, as we are going to be having those couple of Archons fighting away, and just starts to micro them backwards. The Ling is having to back off here at the end. Alright, so just going to be continuing to see those Lings, continue to see if they can get some more damage done. Groove Spine's on the way up, by the way. The Hydralisks are starting to come on out of this hatchery. And we are going to be seeing just a few Lings taking some damage here and there. Again, just some bits and pieces as we see a Pylon coming up off over to the left-hand side. A Probe from MacSed also on its way up here on the third base. More Zerglings going to be coming down towards the bottom left as we see some Immortals, Sentries and Zealots all gathering themselves together at the moment to get across the map and to actually go for a follow-up push. Namshar, how prepared for this is he? His army supply's looking good, he's getting more and more Hydras. I actually didn't realize this was still just 2 bases from MacSed, so he is going to have a lot of Archons, the 2 Immortals, and obviously then a lot of Zealot Warpins, but there's a lot of Hydras on the way out, and as Namshar hits that critical mass of Hydras where the damage output is just high enough to kill things before the Hydras start dying, that's where there's going to be a lot of trouble here. MacSed actually pops Guardian Shield in the first force field very early, before pulling back and needing a little bit more time for extra Archons and maybe a Zealot Warpin to join this fight, so that's a lot of energy he's already used on the Sentries. Now he doesn't have a Guardian Shield going into the second round of this engagement, and that's a massive miss-out, because that's a lot more damage the Hydras are going to be able to get done, whereas they maybe shouldn't be able to get it done. Zealot count just isn't here at all to really tank for these units, and you can see the Sentries falling, the Archons have gone down, and these Immortals are going to be soon to follow. Plenty of Hydras left over to keep pushing forwards and hunting for the Warp Prism, because the Warp Prism going down means that none of these units will get away in the end, and the Warp Prism is low, but it just sneaks out of there with 2 Immortals, but obviously it's not a good position for MacSed. He's playing from a point at which he is hurting. He's down. He's lost pretty much everything apart from these 2 Immortals. At this stage, he needs so much more to go for a follow-up attack. I mean, he has no Archons anymore. He's warping in Jazzards at home. He had to warp in new Sentries, which uses up a lot of his gas. He's really not in a great position right here. And as MacSed gets set to go across, once again, Namshar just has so many units. He's confident enough to even start up 6 more drones, even though he knows there's no third base. When the Immortals actually come in, they will be able to get this hatchery kill. So he actually kills the third hatchery, and Namshar, oh my god, that Warp Prism just gets out of there. Very impressive little move out there. Really thought he was going to go down, actually. As DTs will morph into Archons, we'll see Zealots and Cleanse and Immortals. Going to fight against those Hydras. A Guardian Shield will pop. You know what, I feel like Namshar didn't really need to be on this side of the map. He's going to be losing all of these Hydras, or the majority of them at least. Suddenly Namshar's not in so hard a position. He lost his third hatchery. He just lost a few Hydras here, being aggressive. Very, very interesting. Interested to see where we kind of go from here. What's up, Harston in the chat saying, I took the host away from Roddy to you, Weirdy. Hope you appreciate it. Thank you, Harston. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. You're my favourite player lately. I know that sounds weird to say, but you really have just been so good that I couldn't possibly support anyone else. So, getting a host from you has truly, truly made my day. What's up, everyone from Harston Stream? If you're coming in, how you guys doing? Welcome. This is the WardiTV Invitational number 3, Qualifier number 1. And this is the quarterfinals here between Namshar and MacSed. Top 2 today will qualify, and we have another qualifier tomorrow. If you guys bitch at Harston enough, he might try and play. Maybe not. Maybe he just expects the invite. Who knows? I know how Harston thinks. Anyways, we'll see some Zealots and Archons, Sentries, etc. moving forwards. A Guardian Shield pops up, and we are just going to be seeing Hydras and Lings taking some more damage. I mean, this is the power play right now from MacSed. If he breaks through now, he could still maybe make this happen. Killing that third hatchery denied so much of the economy of Namshar, and oh my god, those Hydras took some big shots from the Archons, but now, where's the Warp Prism? It's just not here, and so He's going to go for some drones, but he really needed to be getting the Hydras, and Namshar is going to end up pushing this back. GG's called in the end. This was a lot tougher than I thought. Our ZvP once more between Namshar and MacSed. To the top left-hand side, this is our blue Zerg player. This is Namshar. And to the bottom right, our red Protoss player. It's MacSed. Down a game, our Chinese Protoss player is looking to bounce back here against our Swedish Zerg, who is looking pretty good in game 1, but then definitely got into a bit more trouble than we expected him to. Let's see how we continue on in the near future. What's up, Cryptsake in the chat? He says, first time here, nice commentator voice. What's up, Cryptsake? Welcome to the channel, and thanks for the kind words. Glad you enjoyed, mate. And yeah, welcome. Just getting into this game number 2, looking to see just how the players are going to be approaching this in the near future. What sort of strategies are they going to be going for? Here on Acid Plant, I always feel Acid Plant's a bit of a weird one. I kind of get lost when I try and describe what's so different about it, but it really is just the pathing of getting up towards bases, and I feel as though getting a four bases here as a Protoss player is definitely doable. You can set up a good kind of defensive position here to defend this ramp, you can set up a good defensive position here to defend these choke points, and then you just have to defend this ramp between them, and yeah, it's a little bit far apart, but it's definitely manageable. But just the potential of moving up to a 5th base here is so much more difficult than you might expect because of this sort of high ground that you don't necessarily control. It's a lot harder than you think, so it's kind of weird. Taking a 5th base here as a Protoss can be difficult, especially if the Zerg is the one who's controlling the momentum of the game. If the Zerg is the one who's, you know, hey, look, you know, I'm attacking off to the left, oh no, I'm over to the right. It really can make it so difficult to expand here as a Protoss player, so intrigued to see how it goes. Intrigued to see if MacSed maybe tries to end this game early once again. Something else that I think is so powerful here on Acid Plant is definitely the lurkers, because it is all about these ramps, right? So if you sit defensively as a Zerg, you know, if you take this forward base, which is something that gets done quite a lot, you put a row of lurkers down here and suddenly you're attacking down a ramp into lurkers or through this choke point into lurkers before you can do anything. So kind of a little bit interesting as we do see this setup going. We'll see how the game develops, we'll see what MacSed goes for. So far, this game looks a bit more standard than the last. It was Gate Nexus Core, not Nexus First, and now he gets his first Oracle out. So he's going into that Stargate, which is just so typical of Protoss players, and a Void Ray as a follow-up. As Namshar, though, has Pneumatized Carapace, so I'm intrigued what the Void Ray is for. Is he going to get aggressive, or is he really just looking to hunt Overlords? Because if he's looking to hunt Overlords, I think he should just cancel it right now, because obviously he's not going to get many Overlord kills if they have Pneumatized Carapace, if he's got a Void Ray, so that's not looking too pretty, as we are going to be seeing this Oracle coming back up in towards the main base to try and get some damage done, but a Queen is there, the spawn position, and the Oracle, all it finds is a bunch of damage, which it's not going to be able to repair the majority, not going to repair all of, because some of it was beyond its shield, so a little bit of a shame, but I mean, poking, prodding, looking for some info. I mean, he didn't really find out too much, right? He didn't even see the lair, did he? No, he did see the lair, so that's at least some information for him. Gets the lair timing. Gets a rough idea as to when Namshar's looking to maybe have Hydras on the map, etc. And, I mean, that's always nice as well, so some good little bits of info there. As I actually have an update for you guys, Uthermal, I don't know how, but he's just turned it around to take Game 1 in that series against Nice. So Uthermal goes 1-0 up against Nice, with Game 2 probably on the way in the near future. So that's kind of cool. Uthermal going 1-0 up against Nice. Was not really expecting it, if I'm going to be honest, after we just watched a little bit of that game. That was kind of amusing, kind of crazy. So, yes, Uthermal is 1-0 up, guys, and we'll probably be seeing a bit of him later on if he continues to do well in that series and moving through to the semi-finals. The Voider and the Oracle combo here have killed off a Queen, and they're looking for further damage, but a couple more Queens coming in is just a little bit too much for these units to fight against. As we do see MacSed going into 4 more gateways, so he's going up to 6 gates here of the Prism and the Charge, and he's going to be looking to apply a lot of, again, Charge Out, Focus Pressure. He's got the Templar Archives down, so he can get the Archons out as well. And we'll see if he takes a third Nexus behind it. It's possible, but Namshar's blocking it with some creep spread, so it is going to slow things down. Just going to be having these extra circles coming in over to the left, and we'll see if cancel on this pylon. Just means that the third base will be slowed down even further than it maybe already is right now, as we see the Void Ray up ahead, just deflecting some of those lings out, starting to warp in. And again, we're getting to that point where we've got to ask ourselves, how aggressive does MacSed want to be? Look how much money MacSed has in the bank. He has so much, and with only 6 gates, I'm not sure he can even spend all of that, even if he warps in like 6 High Templar for the triple Archon. I'm not sure if that is actually enough. He warps in more Zealots again. Okay, now he warps in some High Templar too. He will kill a few of these Lings. Hydras are on their way out. The group Spine's been prioritized here from Namshar. Definitely the better upgrade defensively, because if you're already on creep and just kind of at the base, the Hydra speed doesn't do as much for you. The Hydra speed is something which becomes a lot more useful later, as you want to actually move around the map with Hydras. Early on here though, it's obviously very maybe self-explanatory. I would hope that, you know, having extra range on the Hydras would help a lot with the defense in comparison. We will be seeing 2 Archons dropping into the main base with some Zealot warp-ins to reinforce it, and some Zealots going to hit the third at the same time, and Namshar pulls everything back towards the natural where one Adept is, and obviously from there he's looking to go up this ramp into the main, but it leaves these Zealots to do so much over here at the third, and yes, the drones pull instantly, but it's already a lot of lost mining time that's being caused, as we'll see this Warp Prism is playing with death, by the way, because of how many Queens are nearby. Nice transfuse as well, keeps the Queen back up in health and keeps it alive, as the Warp Prism backs out of the main base. To the right-hand side, another Zealot gets cleaned out as that third base is finally set up and saved, as we are going to be seeing the Storm upgrade on the way from MacSed now. Just chrono boosting this Storm up, just getting it to be something which can be very useful here in the near future. +1 missile attack coming down on this Evolution Chamber, and the Muscular Augments is also on its way through. Couple of gateways from MacSed on the way up in the main base, and again just more of these units gathering together. He did get up into 3rd Nexus this game, so eventually he got that expansion down as interception, no, he dodges away. So the Warp Prism for now is able to get off over to the left hand side, stay alive for the moment. Going to be seeing a 4th hatchery dropping down here as well from Namshar. +1 attack is coming through on the Forge from MacSed alongside that. Storm's still just trying to build up this army. I mean, this time, MacSed's going to have all the tools at his disposal, right? He's going to have Storms available, he's going to have Archons and Immortals and Charge Lots. He's getting in towards the mid to later stages of the game, something we didn't see in Game 1 because he tried to go all in off 2 bases. And this time, Namshar's still just building pure Hydra. I'm a lot more worried for him, because this time there's going to be a lot more splash damage in the game that can be very detrimental to Hydra-based forces. You know, if you have a couple of Storms available, those Hydras can absolutely melt if the Storms connect well, so obviously a lot of this comes down to the spellcasting of MacSed, but the potential's definitely there. Now, I said he had some Immortals, but he actually doesn't have any Immortals, which I find an absolute miracle. He actually has a couple mixed in there. That skin is so difficult to see sometimes. But he doesn't have like a ton of Immortals maybe, which is something you could kind of expect nowadays. As Namshar adds in a round of drones, he's also started the Lurker Den recently, which maybe leaves him somewhat vulnerable to a forwards attack. And as MacSed coming forwards, he doesn't have the Observer here yet. It's on its way over, so he wants to clean up some of this creep spread. Looking for this fight. Obviously, it's going to be so heavily reliant on the Storms, and that revelation is huge, because now MacSed knows where the army of Namshar is positioning, and he knows where he may just want to be putting the Storms or prioritizing the Storms in general. A group of Zealots start heading in towards the 3rd base on the right-hand side, and some Hydras get sent forwards to deal with those as the rest of this army comes up this ramp, and already Namshar starts to kite away. There's the first Storm. It's good, actually, to get rid of a few of those Hydras and to soften them up, and now the Zealots keep charging forwards. MacSed has quite a bit here at the moment. The Hydras from behind, they dealt with the Zealots, but now coming back in, there's not many of them, so they're starting to go down too. The Storms are used, and now it's just pure Archon Immortal Zealot, and that doesn't sound great because Storms are just so amazing, but the number of units here may just be the biggest issue. MacSed's getting a little bit split up. He loses a couple Archons to the left-hand side, though. I mean, he's doing good damage on the right-hand side. Zealots come in to reinforce this. These Archons still backing away. Now the entire army actually comes in to fight together, although those Archons are not pulling their weight. He has one Archon still finishing off that hatchery as well. Comes back in here now. The drone's even pulling in to try and help with this defense. Just the fact that there's still 2 Immortals here and another wave of Zealots is coming through. It looks as though Namshar is broken in this game number 2. Looks as though we're going into game 3 between Namshar and MacSed, because MacSed, very much so, seems to be in control of this game number 2 right now. As more Zealots charge on forwards, the Hydras are dropping down. We're going to be seeing a few more High Templar warping in. And this is looking as though it's about going to be it. Again, a few more Hydras are getting taken down here, and just means that this is pretty much all she wrote for Namshar. GG, and MacSed ties the series 1-1 in this best of 3. Wow. And even just clicking on that link does help to support the tournament and further tournaments in the future that we run here on WardiTV. With that said, it's game 3 of Namshar and MacSed. To the top right hand side of the map, our blue Zerg player. This is Namshar. Going up against the red Protoss player, MacSed, in the bottom left. We'll be representing China in Nation Wars later today, if I'm not mistaken. That Nation Wars starting up in 2.5 hours, guys. obviously, make sure you check that out. I'm going to be watching Nation Wars, and hopefully we're going to be wrapped up in time to watch, to pretty much just go straight into watching Nation Wars. We shouldn't be too far off, as we are just going to be waiting to see what comes up next. What's up, Juvia Locks 69 in the chat? How you doing? Comes in with the Cheer 100 and says, "Hope you have fun in Vancouver," which is in reference to the fact that last night we had an insane night on WardiTV, me and Rifkin, because we fundraised up a whole bunch of money on the Matcherino page for the BTSL, including hitting the stretch goal, which means that I'm going to be going to Canada to cast the BTSL offline event, which is very, very exciting. I'm really, really hyped for it, I'm not going to lie. And yeah, hope I have a lot of fun as well. Thank you very much, Juvia, for the Cheer 100 in the chat. And yeah, hyped. I'm going to be booking my flights later today, I think. So hype, 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 hype. Should be very exciting. As we do see these couple of Zerglings coming in and chasing down this probe. They are just looking to hunt it down. And there's an Adept popping out to start cleaning up a couple of those Zerglings. There's a couple of Lings taking some damage, as we are going to be seeing. An Adept popping out here from MacSed is going to be moving forwards. And it's the gold base from Namshar which is going to change this game up a little bit. It's going to make things a little bit more interesting, a little bit more different than what we usually see here in this ZvP. So, let's see how this is going to go as this Adept comes actually back home right now. Isn't too bothered about continuing on, as the Oracle of MacSed is going to pop in the next couple of moments. So Oracle of MacSed's about to pop, Corona boosting it out, and he goes straight into the Void Ray once again, to the same setup as before. What is interesting is that Namshar chooses not to go Pneumatized Carapace this game. In the previous games he's been starting it up every single time. This time he gives it a break, so he's actually going to say, okay, no fear for me here, or anything along those lines. I'm actually not worried about what comes up next, and I'm just going to be happy to kind of continue from this point onwards. So, some confidence here from Namshar, no fear about what could be coming his way. Did you just see this Oracle hunting around, looking to see what's up, and the lair is going to be finishing up again here in just a couple of moments' time. Gives Namshar that opportunity just to kind of, well, yeah, just to have the kind of the tech choices now available to him, basically. So, stepping towards this, probably going to be seeing something like a Hydra's Den, I guess, very quickly, considering what we've seen before. There's also no Rotron once again, so Namshar playing the same sort of Ling Hydra style, and there's a switch up from MacSed, a second Stargate. MacSed is looking to be a very aggressive player with Oracles this game, looking to go into modes more than just the 2 or 3, 1 or 2 that we saw previously. This is now already 2 Oracles and a Void Ray coming in at the front. They're using the Void Ray to tank the Spore and the Queen. He's actually going to dive. He's actually going to go for the Spore Crawler. Even if it costs him the Void Ray, I mean, well, it doesn't cost him the Void Ray because he actually just pulls away, and now he's going to get some drone kills, and Namshar is taking some very real damage here already. This is actually quite a lot of damage being dealt. 4 workers already going down, gets 5 now. 1 Oracle does fall. Those drones getting back to mining on the natural expansion, so those drones getting back to mine. 2 more Oracles in the production tab here at the moment, and we are going to be seeing, well, this continues, right? I mean, he comes in for another little bit of damage. I mean, you know, you've got shields, you may as well use them. They will regenerate. This is now 8 workers killed. MacSed, this is a very good start for him. Remember that if he can get a lot of Oracles gathered together and hit without Namshar expecting it, this could be like goodbye to an entire mineral line at a time, so let's see how this is going to go. More Hydras on the way out currently from this 3rd base. So the Hydra's coming out here in a moment or 2, and the +1 missile attack upgrade from Namshar is also just about to be finished up. There's 2 Adepts up the left-hand side, and we will see the Hydra's going to grab 1 and 2 Adepts, both of them going down. There's 2 Adepts going down there pretty swiftly, and again, some more Oracles still just being chrono boosted out. Namshar just has no info on this. The fact that there was no Pneumatized Carapace means he hasn't been re-scouting. And obviously he hasn't seen anything for a while, so he probably just assumes everything is very standard and normal at the moment. A group of Oracles going to be moving from the main down through the natural and maybe up towards the 3rd. I mean, again, if they reveal themselves now, Namshar will be able to start preparing. And okay, yes, Namshar has a lot of Hydras, but if those Hydras aren't in the right position, these Oracles will kill a Spore and a mineral line so freaking quickly. Namshar actually throws down a Spire, that's insane. Has he seen anything to kind of suggest this? I don't think he has. You know, he hasn't seen the oracles. They've been kept here. He's had no vision there. But now Shaw throws down a Spire anyways. Well, if he goes mutas, it could be bad because there's double Stargate, so he could build Phoenix. Then you fight against the mutas, and then the mutas aren't great. Compared to if there's just a single Stargate Phoenix production. Obviously, maybe the mutas still have some possibility there. It's going to be seeing the probe from MacSed moving out in towards the center of the map, and again, this is 9 oracles gathered together. I think they've flown over a little something now because there's another spawn on the way up. Is that just on a new base? It is. Okay, so Namshar maybe doesn't know about it until now. These oracles have kind of started to reveal themselves. A lot of Hydras on position on the 4th. As you do see, the Hydras are looking to see what they can potentially come in with, and they turn these oracles away so far. I mean, that's already amazing, right? You're at this position where you didn't know the oracles were coming, and suddenly they maybe come in to catch you off guard, and you just kind of deflect them without them doing anything. This is a lot of investment for MacSed, which is currently not paying off for him. Obviously, he's it's obviously like an investment which is meant to do more damage than it's done, so it's kind of weird, and I'm intrigued to see what MacSed does from here, as we do see Namshar, despite seeing all the oracles, he will still commit into a few meters, even if to just force a few Phoenix perhaps, or even if he just gets a few workers. Maybe it works out, as we are going to be seeing those meters climb through the center. A few Hydras are coming up as a follow-up in the next few moments. So a few meters coming down the bottom left. They're actually going to find the oracles, which is of course nice, and this is the first time which MacSed really sees the meters as the oracles scatter from the first meter shots. A little bit of mismicro. They started to move them, and then he didn't know where to go, and MacSed still doesn't really know where to go with them. And again, these meters might get quite a bit done. I mean, no defense in this mineral line on the natural, so already this is a few workers, a pull away as well. And we're just going to be seeing these few Stalkers just pushing the meters away. We're going to see some Storms available, but oh no, Storm's not actually ready yet, so you can target down the High Templar. Shield Battery's the savior over here. Only one High Templar lost, but I mean, for 6 meters, he's just killed what? I mean, for 6 meters, he's killed a High Templar, 10 probes, a couple of the Oracles. This has already been an absolute amazing start here from Namshar with this meter play. The Oracles are going to hit the gold base now, and the Hydras are very out of position. They are not here at all, and so the Spore Crawler will go down, and so will the mineral line. Or he actually pulls away with the drone, so looks as though MacSed won't chase. Again, maybe could have gotten more done with this, but he doesn't, as those Oracles pull away around this side, and the Hydras do actually miss the Oracles there, so the Oracles are able to kind of sneak away still, as these meters are still around. There is a Phoenix out, which finally comes into play now, but it's going to get targeted down, and MacSed making some mistakes when it comes to the control here at the moment. Nice Storm, actually a very nice Storm. He gets a lot of those meters very low, and those meters continue to drop in health. In fact, those meters are insanely low at the moment. That's only 2 meters left, and they run behind this mineral line to try and keep themselves safe. Wow, plus 2 missiles on the way from Namshar. That'll finish up in a moment or so. And we are going to be seeing just more of these Zerglings coming across the map. The Hydras as well, and Banelings. I feel as though at this stage we're at that sort of point where we've definitely seen Namshar do enough damage to just make this follow-up attack now so powerful. There's still a lot of Oracles here, but, you know, this is the thing as well, right? The Oracles and Phoenix in this army supply are not amazing. The High Templar have used their energy on the previous meters, and so everything that should be in this fight is actually missing. You know, there's a lot of army supply and units which aren't going to be amazing. There's army supply and High Templar which only have maybe 1 storm each, if any storms at all on some of them. So all of this is so much better for the Zerg play than usual because of how he's opened up with here. As we see the Banes and Hydras getting caught a little bit in some stasis wards, unable to actually hit in from this side. Namshar for unsuccessful attack so far. I'm actually surprised how well MacSed has been able to turn this away, and now Oracles are chasing these Hydras down. A couple of Phoenix are going to lift up a couple as well just to help out, and oh my god, Namshar is being massacred. Well, that's a little bit of something as we see the Hydras turning around, pushing the Oracles away again, and we are going to be seeing the extra Hydras on the way out. A Hive is about to finish as well in the main base. That definitely wasn't a good attack. So many units caught in a stasis, and then just an attack that just didn't really sync up. The right hand side got pushed away, then the left, and just the choke points, shield batteries and cannons over here helped to hold on as well. And MacSed took a good fight, a fight which actually puts him even on army supply, and maybe gives him some potential here now to continue pushing forwards and to get some better fights continuing on. Namshar going into Hive Tech, great Aspire behind this. Can MacSed clean him out? Can MacSed shut him down? That's what we are trying to see in the next few moments, as we do see these units all gathering up in the center, and we are going to be having some Lings and Hydras going to stop being chased down already. These Oracles popping their pulsar beams. Those Hydras getting pushed away very quickly. A lot of Hydras, Banes, and Lings at the moment here, still ready to come through, but there's so many Storms available now. Another big warp in himself. Corruptors on the way, and Broodlords are so close. Namshar isn't there just yet. Can MacSed stop him before he hits those Broodlords? It would be a big difference. It would be a deal breaker to some extent to see the Storms. Not good enough, man. Those Banes, they snuck in and they hit every single High Templar, and suddenly Namshar takes one hell of a fight to the point where he might even want to just chase away, or chase down this army. It is chased away, but it isn't chased down. At the same time, Zealots do kill the gold base up top, but the Barons get their revenge and blow those Zealots up. I mean, what's even left up here? I guess a fair amount of gas, about, what, 1,600 minerals? I mean, it's probably worth retaking the expand, but with another base coming up here, this base fresh, it's not the end of the world from Namshar losing that expansion. It's definitely recoverable from, and again, what went wrong there for MacSed was he just didn't quite have the Storms. With a couple of Storms hit, and these Banes, they went low, but they were still alive, and so they got into the core of the army. They killed all the High Templar with some Storms still remaining on them, and that's what Namshar needed, to buy himself the time to now get Broodlords in production. As those Broodlords finish up, obviously a lot will change as well. And right now, Namshar, he's looking as though he's in pristine position to move on forwards. MacSed, I think, maybe has one more chance. I mean, maybe one more army to try and fight with, but it's going to be so difficult to actually try and get something done if he has to go against Broodlords now, because he just doesn't have an army to fight Broodlords. Yeah, okay, you know, High Templars can storm them, Archons can fire at them, but only if they get in range, and those Broodlings are so good at keeping, you know, their spawners, their kind of companions, the Broodlords, out of range. So honestly, right now, Namshar, maxing out, getting ready for a fight, and you cannot blame him because it's looking so good for him. If he can keep his opponent off of a fourth base, well, it will just be fantastic. And there you go, the Broodlings dropping down. You'll see the Archons will just not get in range of the Broodlords at all. Some Storms are dropping, but it's just not reliable enough, and even the Storms are struggling to get in range as well. As the last couple of Storms disappear, it really is just Broodlords versus Archons. And there's only one way this goes, when the Archons can't get underneath the Broods, and this is going to be too much from Namshar. So he pushes us through into the semi-finals of today's qualifier for the third WardiTV Invitational. A few Immortals on this third base going to try and stay alive, but it's just not really enough here at the end. A few more Zealots warping in, trying to help out as well, but again, the Broodlords are continuing to approach forwards, and as the Broodlords keep on arriving, well, okay, a couple of Voidways will show up, and they will start to target them down, which is great, but now these Voidways are not going to win the fight against everything else on the ground, and that is where the Broodlords have already done their damage. That's GG, and Namshar takes the series 2-1.